coming so close and really having a shot right there to potentially tie the game or go for two and win it.
Yeah, I thought, Kobe Prentice went out, did really good. I think it was like 3 catches in a row and, gave us the spark we needed. It was just execution in the red zone. That's something we struggle with all day. And so, yeah, it's just unfortunate the way it kind of went.
You had one catch. I can't remember where it was first half, I believe, but kind of a one-handed, one-armed catch. A guy draped all over you.
Yeah,
that was a great catch, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, sorry to put it right on the money, right where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And I just put my arm out there, and it was right there.
Yeah.
Fit like a glove.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
Yeah, definitely isn't. Yeah.
You made
cool.
that was a great catch, and you guys. There's so many big plays that you guys had today that you had to have, right, to even get yourself back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what sparks the team. It brings us together and gets the offense rolling. And so, big plays are needed, and I felt like that happened today.
Talk about kind of the team rallying around Caden Knighton there, and you hate seeing one of your teammates go down, but man, you could hear a pin drop in the stadium.
Yeah, it's a hard thing about the sport. We love Caden. And when something like that happens, it's devastating. And so we'll be praying for him and just wishing him the best of luck. With everything that happens, and just pray for his family too. It's just I can't even imagine. But it's a hard thing. We love Caden. We're going to be here for him no matter what.
What was the word from Coach Aranda in the locker room today?
Just, honor the seniors. This is their time. He made everyone dap up every single senior after this and just tell them to say thanks. Just tell them you're grateful for them. Good luck moving forward. And that was really the main focus. Obviously the game happened the way it happened, but, it's a special moment for the seniors. We want to make sure they feel loved going out.
Matthew, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, Matthew Kloffenstein, Baylor tight end with us post-game. Follows a 31-24 loss by the Bears to the Houston Cougars that ends the season at 5-7 for Baylor. And we continue on the First Central Credit Union post-game show. Brought to you
guys,
by.
We've got Kyler Jordan if y'all are ready.
All right, sounds good. Brought to you by First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you. And pleased to be joined now by Kyler Jordan, another of the leaders on this team today. And, man, tough loss for you guys, but what a great job, again, by battling to the very end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, it's just – I think a testament just seeing how the guys fought, going into the game, have a lot to play for. But, the season's nothing like any of us envisioned, obviously. So it's just a testament to the seniors, testament to the guys that we had, just the battle. We knew it was going to be a battle going into the game, and that's what it was. So, yeah.
You guys battled a lot of things, and every team has injuries, but you were shorthanded going into the game, and then it got even more shorthanded over the course of the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got a lot of big pieces out right now, and use this time to heal up, it's just, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, this season is just not good enough, It's not good enough for the seniors. It's not good enough for the young guys. It's just not good enough. So going into next year, we got a lot to work on, and we got a lot to work towards. So
talk about the interception by Keaton Thomas and just kind of that play. That was a huge momentum shifter in this ball game.
Huge, huge. We've talked about turnovers, honestly, way too much this season because we just haven't really gotten enough on defense, and so turnovers can really change a game. And I mean, obviously, KT deserves all of it, and he worked so hard. So yeah, that was really, really cool and a really pivotal moment in the game.
Yeah, turnovers again, kind of bit the Bears today, and it's kind of been a story. And defensively, y'all been put in tough situations, and today you overcame quite a few of those. And talk about the fourth down stop there in the fourth quarter that got the ball back to the Bears to go tie the ball game.
Absolutely, absolutely, that was huge. I mean, just going out there as a defense and being able to actually do that to give the ball back to our offense to give them a chance, it's huge. So yeah, that was awesome.
What will you miss most about this team?
Man, I've played a lot of football with a lot of these guys on this team. We've been here together for a long time. Cooper Lands, Ryan Wingell. I mean, I've been with those guys ever since I came in. So Sawyer, it's hard to see those guys go. It's just never going to be the same. and just super thankful for those guys instilling wisdom and showing us what it means to work hard and to do the right things, and just utterly thankful to all of them. Really going to miss these guys.
Well, the end of the season always comes too soon. What's next for you? What's the next step?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be coming back for a 5th year. So I redshirted my true freshman year. So I'm going to be coming back to be a Bear again.
That's good news.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
good
sir.
news. So what will be your mindset? What will you take from this game, this season, through the off season, heading into next year? You personally?
Yes, sir. For me, I think I've got to do a better job of leading the young guys, showing them that you can do the right things and still make plays, and you can do the right things off the field, on the field. And you not only earn respect, but you earn respect from the coaches, but you earn respect from your teammates. So really just being more vocal, understanding that, I mean, I've been through it. I've been here for 4 years. Like, I've been through a lot since I've been here. So really just I need to be a better vocal leader and kind of take these younger guys under my wing, because some of them are really talented and can be real good players for the Bears. So.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate your leadership. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, John.
All right, thanks for the visit. Yep, Kyler Jordan with us. Great to visit with him. Good news that he wants to and will come back for a 5th year for this team next year. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment as we continue on the First Central Credit Union postgame show. It's brought to you by the First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you. Bears fall to Houston today, 31-24. Our game sponsor, TFNB, your bank for life. Plenty more to come. Stay with us here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyotathon is on. And what better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's sing about it. So without further ado, driving through the snow in a new RAV4, hooray! To the slopes we go in a Highlander for a ski day. A Camry to get hot cocoa, tubing with a Tundra makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it is to make holiday wishes come true. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey!
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places. During Toyotathon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2026 Tundra. Offer available in select states only.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
If you're stuck in a high auto loan rate, it's time to call an Audible.
Hi, I'm Joe Betsy Tyler with First Central. When it comes to your auto loan, you don't have to stay in a bad formation. Call the right play. Refinance with First Central and get a lower rate, fast approvals, and a team that knows how to win local.
Visit firstcentralcu.com and apply today.
First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you.
Membership and loan policy requirements apply. Member NCUA.
You're listening to Baylor Football. Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Everything we do for you. 31-24, the final. Houston over Baylor today. Final game of the season for the Bears. They finish at 5-7 on the year. We're also brought to you by Rudy's, a proud sponsor of Baylor football. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Still to come, our postgame visit with Bears head coach Dave Aranda. Let's check on scores of other games around the Big 12. 2 in progress right now. BYU is all over UCF. BYU number 11 in the nation, 41-21. BYU leading UCF. That's with 3:11 to go in the fourth quarter of that game. The only other game in progress, TCU leads Cincinnati 7-0. They are in a delay, a weather delay in Fort Worth. And to be honest, I can't tell you where that is in the game. Early on in the game, TCU in a weather delay leading Cincinnati 7-0. Other finals, besides ours, 5th-ranked Texas Tech won big over West Virginia in Morgantown 49-0. Kansas State beat Colorado 24-14. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State 20-13. Cowboys finish 0 in the Big 12 for a second consecutive year. They did announce and hire a new head coach this year in Eric Morris from the University of North Texas. 2 games last night in the Big 12. 13th-ranked Utah beat Kansas 31-21. And the game that virtually decided the Big 12 championship game participants, 25th-ranked Arizona beat number 20 Arizona State. 23-7 was the final. With Arizona State's loss, that assured, even before the games were played today, that Texas Tech and BYU would meet in the Edward Jones Big 12 football championship game 1 week from today, 11 a.m. in AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Those are Big 12 scores from last night and from today. Other scores, other games in progress. 6th-ranked Oregon, a 3-0 lead early over Washington. They're in the first quarter. LSU and Oklahoma scoreless in the first quarter. Tennessee leads Vanderbilt 7-0, 2:37 to play in the first quarter. Finals, number 1, Ohio State all over 15th-ranked Michigan, 27-9 the final score. Number 12, Miami beat number 22, Pitt, 38-7. The final score there. Upcoming games, Alabama and Auburn playing the Iron Bowl coming up. UCLA and USC, that traditional Big Ten matchup. SMU closes at California. Notre Dame plays at Stanford. So some of the games, the Big 12 games and others nationally. And we will take our final post-game break and await our visit with head coach Dave Aranda. We'll do that when we return on the First Central Credit Union post-game show, brought to you by the First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you. 31-24 Houston over Baylor today in Waco on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
When life gets complicated, Butts Law Firm is your one-stop for a wide range of legal needs. Whether you need estate planning documents such as a will, trust, or guardianship, or the appointment of a receiver to handle personal or business assets management and disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues, we are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today, 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Trusted attorney by your side can make, because at Butts,
yes,
your legal right business.
Sure.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cab, and chassis and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hey, Ricky, this is Bubba Hicks. Rumor has it you're finally hanging up your cleats. Well, congratulations. Do you realize that we've known each other over 50 years? 50 years. Can you believe that? They've been great ones, and I'm really looking forward to a few more. Congratulations.
Very nice. Wrapping up our tributes for Ricky Thompson over the course of this game today. Ricky's final one with us on the Baylor sidelines. And, Rick, I got to tell you, that was fun to contact those guys. Your friends, your former teammates, your co-workers, both football and track former teammates. So that was a lot of fun, and just wish it could have been your final game end with a win today.
Yeah, that was fun to listen to. That was really a surprise, and I really appreciate those guys doing that and y'all putting that together. It was that was just super. That's something that obviously I'm going to want a copy of and keep that for a long time to remember this game by. But it's been a good day. I appreciate everything that you all have done during this day, and that made it really special.
You bet.
Hey, guys, we've got Coach if you're ready.
Okay, very good. Thanks for that. It was our honor to do that, Ricky, and to recognize you for 26 years and 317 consecutive games. Joined now by Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. His postgame comments brought to you by Alliance Bank. Alliance Bank, it's your bank. And, Coach, thanks for joining us. And, gosh, tough finish to this game, tough finish to the season. But I thought the resilience of your team really showed through even to the final gun today.
No, I appreciate that. You know, it's just it way hurts and tough locker room right now, but we had multiple injuries going into the game, and then we had multiple injuries at the game. And the next guy kept stepping up, and there was just an incredible fight by this team. And way proud of that part of it. It just wasn't enough there at the end.
You literally almost ran out of running backs. Joseph Dodds ran really hard. What's the latest, or what have you heard about Caden Knighton?
I think he was being checked out. I think it's a lower back injury. He's got movement with upper body, lower body, so they feel good about that. So they're still testing right now, but so far so good.
That's good. Thanks for that update. Yep. You guys, again, put yourself in position. You had the ball in the final 2 minutes of the game. Put yourself in a position to drive down and score and either tie or win it there at the very end.
Yeah, you know, I think early in the game, just too many mistakes and not capitalizing on scoring drives, too many field goals and not enough touchdowns. And then, you know, I think tackling early in the game could have been a whole lot better on defense. And so all that stuff kind of catches up when you play a team that's executing at a high level. There's only so many mistakes that you can make, and despite the effort and despite the next guy stepping up and the next guy stepping up and just all of that, it just wasn't enough to overcome it.
Talk about the seniors today. You got Devin Bobby, you got Cooper Lange, you got Sawyer. I mean, Josh Cameron, Hawkins. I mean, just a slew of guys that have been here that have, played some incredible football on this field and for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, way emotional locker room. It was way emotional last night in the team meeting. You know, there's guys that have been here 4, 5, 6 years. Guys that could have some came as walk-ons. Others came and stayed. You know, there's multiple opportunities to leave. There's raises, I guess, from other spots, and they decided to stay. And so they're the ups and downs. And great reps of just everything that Baylor is about and wants to be about. Then we got some seniors that have been here for a year and have had to go to class in person, have had to some of the things that Baylor really cares about in terms of the spiritual growth and just the character formation part of it, have really kind of opened themselves to that in terms of that's maybe not something they ever really saw or was important to them, and so they've been able to transition into being a Baylor football student athlete. So both, the new and the old, just way miss them, man. There's such a sacrifice that everybody made for a special group, and just way wish we would have gotten them a win today.
Yeah, the relationship, the family side, even after the game, all the players going to the sideline and talking to their parents and family. I mean, talk about how important that is.
Yeah, it was we're trying really, really hard. For Baylor football to have a day in the sun somewhere, so we had to earn it, and that was kind of the goal today. And just a frustrating deal. I think for just the senior day tribute prior to the game. The second guy was Josh, and he's crying, then he gets me crying, and then it's a whole thing. You just see all the parents, and you remember when you were in their house recruiting them, and you remember just the good and the bad. You remember just all of there's like a long journey that this thing is, and it's like hard decisions, and it's hard truths, and it's kind of swallowing your pride, and it's kind of trusting other people. And it's, hey, this is bigger than me, and just kind of what I want in this moment. It's all of those things. It encompasses all of those things. And so, for it to be over, this part of it to be over, kind of hits you hard. But for a lot of these guys, man, onward and upward. And a couple guys going to the Senior Bowl, and there's going to be real positive things coming from them, and they're going to represent us just so well.
What will you remember most about this team?
Resiliency. I think in a lot of ways, this game is a reflection of our season. I wish that wasn't the case. But I just think, despite however many guys are down, despite hey, we only got one guy left here, despite we made this mistake and now we're in a bad spot, but we're still going to fight. That was this team. And we just kind of kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and so way proud of them. And, I think there's a lot to work with there when you have guys that really care and are good people, good players that are committed to doing it the right way in a certain way. So, it's resiliency which comes to mind.
Dave, we appreciate you and your hard work and your staff and the hard work all season long. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Dave Aranda, Bears head coach, wraps up his 6th season as head coach here at Baylor. Disappointing end to, quite frankly, a disappointing season. I think Dave would be the first to say that, but we shall see what happens through the offseason and on into next year. But there will be no bowl game for the Bears this year as they finish at 5-7. Guys, let's wrap it up. Hand things off to Derek Smith, who's coming up with the 5th quarter show. But, Nick, just final thoughts as we wrap things up here following this Senior Day loss today to Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I think you left a lot of opportunities on the field, as we've talked about for most of this season. And I still think heading into the season, expectations high, and there's still a little bit of denial of, is this real? I think you got down inside the red zone there and figured you were going to win it and go for 2, and so there's still a little bit of that shock factor right now. And again, I think you hear the emotion in Coach Aranda and Matthew and Kyler are like, man, this team cared about each other in a deep, deep way, and that's the part that most people as fans don't see and experience, and what's sacred about the locker room. And I think that's where I'm feeling it as a former player for these guys, and went to a bowl game last year, and you don't get to have another month together.
Ricky, you get the final word on your final game with us.
Well, I hate it for these guys. I just think these kids were a group that we really wanted to see good things for them, and that would have ended in a bowl game. They did play hard, mistakes, a couple of calls, but that happens. But all in all, it was just a tough day for them, and that's what you hate. And I can promise you that locker room was emotional. I'm sure it was last night in the meetings, as Coach talked about. Nick, you've been through those, and when you know it's the last one, that makes it hard, just kind of like I know this is the last one. So, but just in my case, John, again, thank you. It's been really an experience of a lifetime, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, most of it. There's been some tough games and some tough
That's
weather,
fair.
but it's been great. We'd do it all over again, and again, I wouldn't stop now if it wasn't for a grandson that's going to be playing on Friday nights, and I'm not willing to miss those games, which I would have to miss 2 or 3. So I've loved it, and again, just thank you to you for making that possible, and all the guys that we worked with over the years, and obviously don't forget JJ and what a loss that was to all of us. But just this group, Nick this year, and Bob, Jeff, it's been a good run with you guys, and I've enjoyed 26 years, and it's time. So I appreciate it, and again, thanks to all the Baylor fans. And I'll be next year sitting in the stands, and probably not a very good fan in the stands.
I can't imagine that, actually. Well, it's us who say thanks to you, Ricky, too, for your great work for so many years, so consistent, never missed a game in 26 years. So thank you to you very much. We appreciate Jack, your grandson, who you're going to get to sit in the stands and watch him next year. But Jack was with us on a lot of our trips, and he's a part of our crew also. So we appreciate him greatly and appreciate you and your family.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
He kind of grew up with us along the way.
He did,
so,
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, that's been fun, and I think he enjoyed jabbing at Bob and a few of the guys, so he fit right in.
That is true. All right, Rick, thanks very much. As Ricky Thompson signs us off following his 26th and final season with us on the Baylor sidelines, we sign off here on the First Central Credit Union postgame show. It's brought to you by the First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you. Thanks to our crew that Ricky mentioned so well. Jeff Walter, our spotter and statistician. Just wouldn't want to do this job without Jeff sitting between Nick and I. Thanks to Bob Baker, our engineer. Nobody knows the things that Bob goes through to get us on the air and keep us on the air. Tremendous job by Bob each and every game. Thanks to Aaron Sexton behind the scenes, but our network board operator, and Aaron makes things go out to our network very smoothly. So thanks to Aaron. Nick has stepped in and done a terrific job. First year with us this year, and hopefully there's more to come. But we appreciate Nick, and Ricky mentioned it. We began the year saying goodbye and remembering J.J. Joe, and he's still close to our hearts as we think about J.J. We didn't get to say goodbye to him. But we still think about him a lot, and we do get to say goodbye to Ricky and wish him nothing but the best as we move forward, and he moves forward as well. So thanks to our entire crew. That's our team. That's our family. And speaking for all of them, I'm John Morris. We appreciate you being with us. Stay with us. The Fifth Quarter Show with Derek Smith is coming up next. Final score, Bears fall to Houston today, 31-24. So long from McLean Stadium.
You've been listening to the First Central Credit Union postgame show. Brought to you by First Central Credit Union, serving members since 1937. Stay tuned for the Baylor Football postgame fan forum right here on the Baylor Sports Media Network. From the Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Temple, ESPN Central Texas. The final whistle.
Okay.
But the story's just beginning. Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Your post-game home for highlights, interviews, advanced stats, and the players who made the difference. The Fifth Quarter Show is brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
All righty. About 40 seconds.
Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Baylor Scott and White Health, the official hospital and healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. HEB, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics, proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your bank for life, the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and urgent care. Feel better now. Nissan, innovation that excites. Now, here's your host, Derek Smith.
We welcome you into the Fifth
quarter show, final edition of the 2025 season following a 31-24 Baylor loss to Houston. It was a disappointing end to a season that ultimately was disappointing. The Bears falling short. They had an opportunity to tie it in the red zone late, but incomplete passes and perhaps some missed calls by the officials ensured that the Bears would not have a chance to tie it. And so the season that began with a lot of hype and excitement, ends in disappointing fashion. The Bears 5-7 and 1 game short of bowl eligibility. Appreciate you being with us. I'm Derek Smith here. This is the fifth quarter show. Over the course of the next hour, we're going to go inside the numbers on this game and this season. We'll look back at how the game unfolded and look ahead a little bit. We're in a lot of ways, there's a season of transition in the broader Baylor athletics world, and for Baylor football, it's a season of transition that's going to have impacts, although we won't know what those are, and they won't all come immediately. But right now the focus is on the game today. Baylor with an opportunity to find a way to close out the regular season to get that 6th win. Found themselves trailing by a score of 24-9 in the third quarter before they roared back to tie the ball game up. However, Houston was able to put together a scoring drive, a long scoring drive, 15 plays, 74 yards, and it was Dean Connors giving the Houston Cougars the game-winning touchdown, a 1-yard touchdown run with a minute and 57 seconds to go. The Bears drove down the field and tried to answer. However, a fourth down pass fell short as Sawyer Robertson was under extreme duress, and Houston escaped here with the win. They did put together a final first down to put the finishing touches on it, a 31-24 win. You know, this is one of those games that there's a lot of directions you could go in breaking it down. Ultimately, I think one direction you look at is this game, in a lot of ways, felt like the season. The Bears were an inconsistent team. Sometimes people use the word bad. I don't think that's the right word. This was a team that was inconsistent, that struggled to put 60 minutes together. And that was the case again today. The offense really didn't get going until the second quarter. The Bears had to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns in that second quarter. That made a big difference. Baylor was -1 in the turnover battle, which that's been a consistent theme all year. And yet then they find themselves down 24-9. And the things that they do well, they come roaring back. They put together some complementary drives. The offense scoring 15 consecutive points. The defense getting a huge fourth down stop to give the Bears the ball back in Houston territory. But then after all that, they give up that 15-play, 74-yard drive that chewed 7 minutes off the clock. I mean, this game was still on the north side of midway through the fourth quarter when the Bears tied the game up. But Houston chewed up much of the fourth quarter on a long drive, picking up third downs and fourth downs and taking the lead with just under 2 minutes to go. And then the Bears, a couple of plays to Kobe Prentice, boom, boom. They're in the red zone. And that's where, honestly, your refereeing reared its head. There were on that final set of downs for the Bears. There was their final chance to win, to have a chance to tie or perhaps win the game if they'd scored and gone for two. Two pretty blatant missed calls, one in which Ashton Hawkins had his helmet ripped off in the left side of the end zone, and one in which Jaden Porter was bumped in his route and then hit again in the end zone. It wasn't called, and in the end, the Bears were unable to get the play were able to get the play they wanted on fourth down as Houston put extreme pressure on Sawyer Robertson, and so the Bears fell 31-24. So close to a win, so close to bowl eligibility. And yet so far, and honestly, that's been, that's been a lot of what this season has felt like, whether it is that early game against, Auburn, the Bears getting within one score but never being able to tie it up, whether it's that Arizona State game, just seemingly always playing from behind. They tie the game up, but then Arizona kicks a field goal at the gun. At TCU, they are way down, actually have the ball under 30 seconds to go, a chance to win. It's a one-score game. It was on and on and on. You can look up and down. You look last week as 41-17 loss to Arizona. You're talking about a one-score game before things fell apart. And why this team wasn't able to put together 60 consistent minutes of football regularly is something that you can dissect. But the fact of the matter is they couldn't. You know, there was talent there, certainly on the offensive side. Sawyer Robertson, Josh Cameron, two guys who, along with the rest of the senior class, whatever this season is and whatever fans think of it, deserve all the praise in the world from Baylor fans. True Baylor guys. I mean, let's not forget. A lot of reports have Sawyer Robertson and Josh Cameron turning down lucrative offers from other schools to keep wearing the green and gold. You would have loved to have seen a better ending from them, regardless of what you think about the season or regardless of what you think about decisions being made around the program. Those are two guys who Baylor fans should always, will always cheer for and should always have, I think, the most pleasant memories and feelings because those are two great Baylor guys right there. You would have liked to see it finish better for them than it did. You know, you could use the injury excuse, and I think there were some legit reasons to look at this defense that looked very different than the one that was intended. You know, you think the start of the year, some of your transfer portal pickups that were expected to be big and looked like they were early. Safety Devin Turner, Phoenix Jackson, linebacker, pass rusher Travion Barnes. They were all lost for the year with injuries. Carl Williams in the secondary. We never really saw him. So those are four key pieces the defense lost. So that does make a difference, but also then you can say, well, the defense, you can say that the depth wasn't there where it needed to be because the defense, it struggled without those guys, but sometimes it was frustrating the way they'd struggle. It'd be the same mistakes over and over, whether it was with running quarterbacks, whether it was that inability to force turnovers. They were minus 13 on the season. Baylor was coming into the day. No one else in the Big 12 was worse than minus 4 in the turnover differential. I mean, so that's a magnitude of 3 that Baylor was worse in that regard than the next to last team in the Big 12. That obviously is not going to get it done when you struggle to get pressure on the quarterback. We'll talk about some of these numbers a little bit later on, but ultimately Baylor was unable to get pressure on the quarterback, unable to force turnovers, and the offense often had too many drives that were ate up yards but came up empty in the scoring column. And I think you add all that together, and you've got a team that just consistently fell just short, as the 5-7 record indicated. And now we head into an offseason that is going to have a lot of interest. Already decisions made have generated a lot of talk, a lot of, there's been controversy in the Baylor family. Well, one thing that's worth noting here is that sometime here in the next few weeks, I don't know exactly when it'll be, but we're going to find out who the next athletic director of Baylor University is. And Baylor finds itself in a very strange position where all of a sudden your athletic director is moving on right before Thanksgiving and right before a consequential offseason. In a lot of ways, that changes everything. And I know for a lot of people, the headline is the news that came out last week that Coach Dave Aranda, is being retained for 2026. Really, the headline, when you think about Baylor University long term, the real headline is this: we got to get the right athletic director hired, and then that individual is going to make key decisions about the future of the program. That's really what this is all about, and that's really what's important for Baylor over the course of these next few weeks in the next year, is the right person coming in and making decisions that will impact the future of Baylor athletics, of the university, the football program, because we know all these things impact one another. When athletics, when football is riding high, it impacts every bit of the university, and everyone wants to see that. But that's just something to think about as we head into these next few weeks. It's going to be a consequential stretch, and if you find yourself frustrated, if you find yourself down, if you find yourself feeling whatever, maybe the best thing to do is pray for our leaders at the university as they make a pretty consequential decision that the right person comes here to Baylor to lead the program, and that's going to impact really everything we're looking about and everything that we talk about. And as we kind of put a bow on the season, that really is the most important thing happening right now that will be that you want to keep an eye on and be looking forward to. Here today, Baylor falls to Houston by a score of 31-24 to fall just short of bowl eligibility. The Bears finish 5-7 on the season. You heard Coach Aranda shared good news at the end of his postgame interview, though. A very scary moment in the game on the field when Caden Knighton came down awkwardly with a back injury. He laid on his stomach for a number of minutes. The stadium was as quiet as you'll ever hear it. Thankfully, Baylor has shared the news that at local hospital he was sitting up. He's alert. He's moving his extremities, and that is certainly an answer to prayer and certainly something that was great to find out. It was meaningful to see him kind of pump his fist after as he was being carted off, and apparently he's continuing to do well following his arrival at the hospital. This is the Fifth Quarter Show. I'm Derek Smith. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have our Green and Gold Rewind segment. We'll listen to a few of the big plays in this one with the voice of the Bears, John Morris. A little bit later on, we'll go inside the numbers on the season. We'll hear from Bears head coach Dave Aranda. We'll look at some of the key pieces of this season. What factors had the biggest impact on this season and where it ended. And then we'll put the bow on the year here at McLean Stadium. Following a 31-24 Baylor loss to Houston. Back with more right after this here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyotathon is on! And what better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's sing about it.
Okay.
Further ado. Driving through the snow in a new RAV4, hooray! To the slopes we go in a Highlander for a ski day. A Camry to get hot cocoa, tubing with a Tundra makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it is to make holiday wishes come true. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey!
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places. During Toyotathon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2026 Tundra. Offer available in select states only.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the Buy H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cub Club, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics, presented by Green Eye Associates. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today.
Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. It's time to hit the rewind button and relive today's game with highlights from the legendary voice of the Bears, This is Green and Gold Rewind.
Stadium, where the season comes to an unfulfilling conclusion, 31-24 loss. One of a number of teams in the latter portion of Baylor's schedule at the beginning of the season thought maybe it looked like an easier portion of the schedule for the Bears, but it not to be so. Whether it's Cincinnati, Arizona, Utah, certainly Houston today, they were among the resurgent teams in the Big 12 this year. They look like today a 31-24 Houston win over the Bears to finish the season for the Bears at 5-7. Let's take a look at how this game unfolded. The Bears had some success in the past month, receiving the opening kickoff. You think about scores don't you had the UCF game and hope that maybe that would be the same when Houston won the toss and deferred in the second half, but it was not to be. The Bears picked up a first down, but just one, and they were forced to punt the ball to Houston, who promptly drove down the field 12 plays, 82 yards over 5 minutes, and a little over 5 minutes, resulting in a touchdown to give the Cougars a 7-0 lead. Baylor would get the ball back after the touchdown, but turnovers have been such a problem for the Bears this year. They've had key moments, save for the Jacob Reddy interception. Baylor's been unable to force meaningful turnovers in key moments. So I say the Jacob Reddy interception. He had the one at SMU that saved the touchdown. He had the one in versus Kansas State that resulted in a touchdown. That's where Baylor's found itself this year, on the wrong side of that, and on back-to-back turnovers, back-to-back possessions. Baylor coughed the ball up. Sawyer Robertson an interception, a fumble as well, and there were a few other near ones as well today. Again, Baylor minus 13 turnover differential this year. Of course, one of those interceptions came on a tipped ball in the end zone at the Houston 7-yard line. I mean, obviously, you look at this, that was a killer. Baylor loses the game by 7 points. You're not guaranteed to score a touchdown there if you don't turn it over. But that had been a drive in which Baylor was moving, it was looking good, the offense was clicking, and then the ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, the pass is intercepted, and just like that, the Bears are, give the ball back to Houston. Houston takes the ball back down the field. They end up with a 14-0 lead on really no other way to say it, an embarrassing touchdown allowed to Connor Wigman, which he broke a number of tackles. Running quarterbacks, we all know it. They've been a problem for Baylor this year. They've been a problem the last couple of years, and that touchdown was unpleasant to watch. Numerous opportunities for the Bears to tackle Wigman and stop him short. They could not, and just like that, Houston had a 14-0 lead. Did some good things started happening for the Bears. Baylor forces a turnover. Keaton Thomas, a nice interception of Connor Wigman. But the Bears are unable to move the football. They do, however, get a 54-yard field goal from Connor Hawkins. Impressive work by Hawkins. That made it 14-3. Then they hold him again. Connor Hawkins gets a 34-yard field goal. And again, you look here, you talk about the lack of complementary football. That second quarter, Baylor scores 9 points after falling behind 14-0. Let's put it this way: they had 3 scoring drives after falling behind 14-0, but had to settle for field goals each time. So that complementary football idea or lack thereof, Baylor scored, but put 7 up there on the board, so you missed a really good opportunity to head into the locker room with a lead. Houston got a field goal, as did the Bears, with 15 seconds left in the second quarter. So it was a one-score game. We're heading into halftime at 17-9 in favor of U of H. But again, you punch even one of those into the end zone, all of a sudden you're talking about a 13 game. Obviously, doing that, Baylor had an opportunity to take control. It did not mean they necessarily take a big lead, but to really feel like they had this home game in hand, and they were unable to do so. So 17-9 at halftime. In the third quarter, just one score. That was by Houston. Connor Wigman had another run, and then he punched it out to make it 24-9. So once again, it's something that's become too common for them. They find themselves down by 2 scores in a Big 12 game. But like this team does, they find a way to come back. And it's one of the things that can be endearing about the players. It's one of the things that can be frustrating about the team. When you see it, it's like, well, where has this been? It's frustrating, and maybe the team rallied a little bit. They lost Bryson Washington early. Bryson Washington, 2 carries, 16 yards, and then he limped off the field. Really wasn't putting a lot of weight on his foot, and so he was gone for the game first quarter. Then obviously we saw what happened to Kate Knight. I mean, you could sense just the the Ongston Stadium as he was down. We're thankful for the news that he is up, sitting up, moving his extremities, and he's doing well. I know there's a lot of prayers for him on the sideline, in the booth, and in the stands. Thankfully, he is doing well. Maybe the team rallied a little bit there, just seeing him roll off the field there. He was carted off on the field, gave everyone the thumbs up, and the Bears did, in the midst of all that, come roaring back. They're down at 24-9. They're without their running back. They're without their top 2 running backs, but they did have one more. That was Joseph Dodds, and after 2 unsuccessful attempts to get it into the end zone from the 1-yard line, the Bears stuck with it, and he hit Bader for the first time today.
This is 3rd down and goal from the 1. Give to Dodds again. He is in. Touchdown, Baylor. Wow. Touchdown, Joseph Dodds. First of his Baylor career.
Wow.
A 4th quarter touchdown on senior day against Houston.
I love it.
Baylor got the 2-point conversion, a leap by Sawyer Robertson using his legs. I know that's something that every time we see him successfully use his legs in the red zone on 3rd down, you want to see more of it. We didn't see more of it this year, but it was good to see when he did. That made it 24-17. And then just really a big stretch of this game here. Baylor, Houston goes for it on 4th down in their own territory, their own 44-yard line. The Bears are able to get the stop and get the ball back down 24-17. And again, that was such a big play by the defense to get that stop. It's a situation where we finally saw that that complementary football work together, and the Bears were able to punch it in. That play, by the way, Connor Wigman, that threw a pass for Amari Thomas, who had a good game on the day, but they couldn't connect there. So the Bears get the ball back and immediately move the ball down the field. Joseph Dodds for 12 yards. But then Sawyer Robertson throws an incomplete pass. Dodds runs for 1 yard, and then an incomplete pass to Josh Cameron. He sets up 4th down and 9 from the Houston 31-yard line. I'll admit at that juncture, I was thinking kick, just taking 3 points, but Jake Spavital, Dave Aranda, they had other ideas, and our senior Josh Cameron had a senior day moment.
Baylor 0 for 1 on 4th downs today. Here we go, 4th down and 9 from the 31. Snap back to Sawyer Robertson. He's throwing right side. Josh Cameron. Oh, he's got it! Touchdown Bears! Sawyer Robertson.
Double move,
Josh
baby!
Cameron. There's the double move.
That's
you've been
the
calling
double
for.
move. Yeah!
Wow! That's the move you guys have been looking for, and it works for a touchdown. The Bears an extra point away from tying the game with 8:53 to play.
Nick Florence there. They got he and John a little wrestling announcer action there. It sounds like, but why not? That was an exciting play. And again, I think no matter how you feel about the season, how can you not feel great about seeing Josh Cameron, who I think embodies just what you want in a Baylor student athlete. Again, a guy who had opportunities to go elsewhere. He was offered money to come play for them. He stayed here and chose to be a Bear. And I know the season didn't go the way he wanted it to, but he's one of those guys who I think should always get a big hand anytime he comes back to Baylor, and we'll all be rooting for him and gets that opportunity at the next level next year. So he scores the touchdown. The Bears kick the extra point, and all of a sudden it is a tie ball game. 31-24, 8:50 to go. The defense had just got that 4th down. That 4th down stop. Baylor had actually stopped them on 2 consecutive drives, forced a 3 and out, and then a turnover on downs. All you got to do is do that one more time, or just get a stop, and you can give the ball back to your offense with an opportunity to try to win the game, or at least take a late lead. But alas, it wasn't to be. Houston mounts their longest drive of the day in terms of number of plays and time of possession. Just chewed it up. 15 plays, 74 yards, 6:52. Dean Cooper punches it in from 1 yard out to give Houston a 31-24 lead. But Bears have a minute 50 to go. They have all 3 of their timeout. The offense had been moving, and again, right away they did. Sawyer Robertson hits Kobe Prentice for 48 yards. That guy's just been a big playmaker all year long. Wish he could be around more. I mean, it just felt like every catch he made was a big, there are a couple of screens that didn't go anywhere, but for the most part this year, his catches were big ones. Then Sawyer hits him for 9 yards, then 5 yards and a first down, and then it just got frustrating from there. Sawyer Robertson, incomplete pass, just under pressure, throws it away in the end zone. So it's 2nd down and 10 at the Houston 13-yard line. So he looks for Ashton Hawkins on the left side of the end zone. Ashton Hawkins has his helmet ripped off by the defensive back while going for the ball. Again, he's going up for the ball. The DB gets a hand in there, completely takes Ashton Hawkins' helmet off. There is no call. Fans are booing. It was a miss. But what do you do, right? You still got 2 more downs. Well, then on the very next play, Sawyer Robertson again, 3rd and 10 from the Houston 13. Targets Jaden Porter. He's bumped on the route and bumped in the end zone, neither of which was enough to cause the referees to pull the flag. And then on 4th down, Sawyer Robertson is under pressure and just never really had a chance, and that was the ball game, and that was the season. I'm puzzled as to why the Bears couldn't get one flag on one of those last 2 plays. They both seem pretty academic there. It's disappointing. It's, again, you would have liked for the seniors, you would have liked to have seen them have that chance to punch it in, and then maybe the Bears go for 2, right? Maybe you got some drama. Maybe you got overtime with the bowl game on the line. You would have liked to have seen that. You didn't get it. This game isn't on the refs, but those were 2 really, really bad no calls there at the end of the game. Baylor had 3 timeouts. They did have a chance to kind of get the ball back in desperation mode, but a Houston first down ended that possibility in the Bears' season at 5-7. So as we talked about earlier, we headed to an off season that's going to be a little bit just a little bit different as we look for a new athletic director. That's really I think for Baylor fans keeping their eye on the ball. That's what that's where the focus is going to be, and where it needs to be. You would have liked to have had a bowl game. Maybe between now and then there's an AD announced. They show up at the bowl game. All these things, but that it won't work out that way. But again, as you think about the future of the program, whatever you're feeling today, that is going to be absolutely key. And one other note to say on that, because of the strange timing of all this, obviously whatever talks were being had about the future of the program, not having an athletic director impacts that timeline. And if you rush, maybe you make a mistake. If you rush on 2 big hires, maybe you make a mistake. There's going to be an evaluation. As it was talked about, President Livingstone's email, there's going to be evaluation that's going to take place with the new athletic director. And that's really what it's all about right now. I mean, on some level, whether you like decisions or not rushing into them in this day and age can be a good thing. And there's going to be an opportunity for the athletic director to make that decision. It would have been fun to kind of introduce him here soon, him or her, and have them at a bowl game somewhere later in the month of December. It's not going to be that way, but we should know what that looks like here in the weeks ahead. And I think whatever talks we have about what Baylor football looks like in this day and age, of NIL, conference realignment, all these things, that's when you can really start talking with more clarity, because there's going to be a vision that's shared by that athletic director that the Baylor family can rally behind and talk about, and certainly football is going to be a big part of that. Here in just a minute, we're going to look at some numbers on the season, go inside the numbers on the game, and a few on the season that stand out. But before we do that, can't go any further without acknowledging that this was Ricky Thompson's last broadcast. Ricky Thompson, 26 years on the Baylor Radio Network, Baylor Sports Media Network, different names, but Baylor Radio throughout. It's not going to be quite the same. Someone good will come in, and that'll be good, but we'll miss Ricky. We'll miss his insights from the sideline, his gravelly voice, the way he loves Baylor. I mean, a Baylor guy through and through. I mean, you're talking about a guy who had a touchdown in the Miracle on the Brazos game in 1974, a part of that Southwest Conference championship team. Then set roots here in Waco for 5 decades in banking and sharing his insights on the radio. And I think we were blessed. I think, as we think about Ricky today, got to acknowledge 21 years together, him, John Morris, and J.J. Joe. That's a special thing in radio, 2 decades of the same trio. And obviously, we lost J.J. Before this season, and now Ricky's retiring. And, they both are not on the broadcast for very different reasons. But I think it's special just to think about just how long their 3 voices together were a big part of all of our Saturdays. And so for Ricky, we really wish him nothing but the best in retirement. We're still going to see him. He's at the basketball game, see him at baseball sometime. He'll be at football. We'll see if he's a good fan or not. But nonetheless, we're going to miss him on Saturdays. And I'm going to share just a couple of quick stories about Ricky because Ricky is again, he's someone he's in this community. He's well known. He's in banking. People trust him with finances. People trust his insights on the radio. But Ricky does have a little bit of an ornery side that comes across. And I remember my first year at Baylor as a student. I got to be essentially a student worker on the Baylor Radio Network and accompanied John and Ricky and the crew down to College Station for a game against A&M. That was 2003. Do not look up the score on that game. If you don't already remember it, we'll just pretend it was good. But I remember A&M made everyone who was on the sideline wear a bib that had a big A&M logo on it. And if you know Ricky Thompson, you know there was no way that he is going to wear a bib with a big ATM, all over it in maroon. But he did put it on for a minute up in the radio booth, and I had brought my camera with me. This was in the pre-cell phone camera days. And Ricky had put the bib on for a minute, and someone, I think John, was like, "Oh, we ought to get a picture of that." Well, I had my camera in hand and started to lift it up, and Ricky goes, "Young man, do you want to continue working on these broadcasts?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he goes, "Then you will not take a picture of me in this." And he took it off and ripped it off and went downstairs. And I actually followed him downstairs, and they tried to tell him that he had to have his bib on to go on the sideline. And he informed him that he was the sideline reporter for the Baylor Radio Network, and he was not going to wear that bib. And after a little bit of back and forth, they saw his microphone, and they agreed to let him. But right away I saw, A&M said they required that bib, but he was not going to wear it, and he did not. I also saw Reveille's handlers at one point tell Ricky that he was getting too close and disturbing the dog, and the look that he gave them could have peeled paint off of the walls of Kyle Field. That was back before it was renovated. Probably wouldn't have taken too much work to do that. But the look he shot Reveille's handlers when they told him he was getting too close and disturbing the dog made me laugh out loud then, and that was something that I'll remember fondly. More than that, just enjoyed hearing Ricky's voice and his insights. And 317 games. I wish there was one more for him, but we wish him the best to know that he's going to enjoy spending Friday nights watching his grandson Jack play football and having a little more well-deserved free time. This is the fifth quarter show, final fifth quarter show of the season. We're brought to you by Rudy's, proud sponsor of Baylor football. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. 2025 season is over. The off season begins, and the Bears find themselves looking back. I think that's, we're going to look ahead, but now we're going to look back a little bit. What were the numbers that had the biggest impact on this season? We'll talk about those when we come back. 31-24, the final today. Bears fall just short of bowl eligibility on Senior Day, and this is the Baylor Sports Media Network.
If you're stuck in a high auto loan rate, it's time to call an audible.
Hi, I'm Betsy Tyler with First Central. When it comes to your auto loan, you don't have to stay in a bad formation. Call the right play. Refinance with First Central and get a lower rate, fast approvals, and a team that knows how to win local.
Visit firstcentralcu.com and apply today.
First Central Credit Union. Everything we do for you.
Membership and loan policy requirements apply. Member NCUA.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cab, and chassis and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Do you want to earn points while cheering on your favorite Baylor teams? Join Baylor Bold Rewards. Track your attendance on the Baylor Sports app across athletic events and earn points towards prizes and experiences. Download the Baylor Sports app or register online today at BaylorBoldRewards.com and start earning your points today.
Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Get ready to go inside the numbers for the stats that shaped today's game. Here's Derek Smith.
On the Fifth Quarter Show, McLean Stadium mostly empty now, but earlier the fans who arrived were cheering hard for these seniors trying to close out the season with a win. Alas, a fourth down throw from the Houston 13-yard line falls short with under a minute to go. And the Bears' efforts to reach a bowl game fall just short, 31-24, the final in this one. So the Bears finished the season at 5-7, and now look to an off season. The off season's here. You get the bowl game, you get a practice an extra month. For the players who are coming back, that can be a real benefit. But the offseason is officially here, and for the coaches, the tension's going to turn to being ready for the transfer portal, the one window that it's open now, for its recruiting class. In this day and age, you can't count on commitments to necessarily stick, and already there's some chatter about that. So the Bears are going to work to maintain what's within a well-regarded recruiting class. That all really starts. I mean, you'd like to say it starts tomorrow or next week, but it may literally start now for that kind of stuff. For all we know, in these cycles here in college athletics. Couple of numbers from today's game. Baylor actually outgained Houston 421 yards to 417. 4 yards. That's kind of a wash, really. Baylor with 300 yards passing, 309 yards passing, 112 yards rushing. Houston more balanced, 201 yards rushing, 221 yards passing, 216 yards rushing. Penalties, that was big. Houston called for 2 penalties for 24 yards. Baylor 8 for 90. Really thought Houston should have been called for penalties there in the end zone with under a minute to go, but they were not. So a couple of things here to look at. First, the fact that Baylor outgained them, and again, you're talking basically even numbers, but Houston was balanced today, and that doesn't always mean winning football, but they had 216 rushing yards, 201 passing yards. You look back at the high point of the last few years for Baylor football after the Big 12 championship in 2021, the high point was the 6-game winning streak last year, right? The 6-game winning streak, starting with the win at Texas Tech, and really closing out all the way through the end of the regular season. They were balanced in those 6 games. During that winning streak, Baylor averaged just over 300 yards passing and just over 200 yards rushing per game, and that obviously helps you. Baylor was at its best then. Well, this year wasn't the case. You'll look, the running game was averaged about 40 yards less per game than last season. Last year, Baylor was at a little over 170 yards per game total. This year, 130. And again, more than that. Again, you look at those numbers, the fact that Baylor averaged 200 yards rushing per game over the last 6 means they got off to a slow start last year, which we all know they did, and then got it going. So that balance, it felt like Baylor had pieces to make it happen again. Again, you have your biggest offensive playmakers coming back this year in Sawyer Robertson and Bryson Washington and Josh Cameron. Hard to know exact. Michael Trigg, can't forget him. He obviously didn't play today in street clothes before the game when he's introduced on senior day. That was announced before the game. So Baylor was without that weapon today. But really throughout the year you had your weapons out there. And the fact that, some of it was injuries, right? Bryson Washington got banged up early and just never really looked like himself throughout the rest of the season. Again, you're talking about a guy who last year rushed for over 1,000 yards, the first Baylor freshman ever to do so. And this year with the injuries, with the inability to really get the running game going, just less than that. It's funny, he's going to finish the year with just under 800 yards, but certainly it feels like a lot less than that. I think that's because a lot of those yards came in the early going when you're talking about those games against Auburn, SMU, Samford, Arizona State, etc. But, it just seemed like his usage was less and less as the season went on due to injuries. And for Baylor, they're going to finish with around 140 yards rushing per game, about 309 yards passing. It's funny how much of a difference it feels like those 60 yards rushing per game make. And I think as you talk about that, you also got to acknowledge that the offensive line wasn't as good this year. The offensive line that last year was ranked as one of the 10 best by some metrics in the nation brought back four of their 5 starters. But I think for whatever reason, the sum of the parts just wasn't there. You had a change at left tackle this season. Mid-season, Sidney Fugar, who'd been such a key piece last year in the 6-game winning streak, was actually replaced by Sean Tompkins. You look at right tackle. Baylor just wasn't as good at right tackle this year with the switch there. When you look at getting Siraki in at right tackle in place of Campbell Barrington, and it just wasn't the same for whatever reason, despite having Colton Price, Ryan Lingell, and Omar Ibedion in the middle of the line at the left guard, center, right guard positions. And they dealt with some distractions this year, right? I mean, their coach, their offensive line coach, is gone mid-season. This team had to navigate some distractions, and perhaps those have an impact on the play on the field. But the point being that the offensive line just simply did not perform at the level that it did last year. It felt like Sawyer Robertson was under duress more. And I think that the lack of balance, that's one place that you can really see all those things coming together. Baylor averaging a little over 300 yards passing and 140 yards rushing per game this year. Now, it started becoming kind of clear as you got into Big 12 season. I think after the Auburn loss, we were all down. After the SMU win, I was pretty enthused, going on the road, winning in double overtime. And then it became clear pretty quickly as you get into the Arizona State game, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, that this was going to be a Baylor team that basically every game was a chance to win, a coin. I wouldn't say a coin flip, but I think close enough, right? You kind of felt like you're looking at the schedule. It's like, boy, these games could go either way. And so you find yourself thinking this team is going to need to manufacture some good things, right? I mean, I think back, you look at some of the Baylor teams that were kind of 50-50. They generated turnovers. I think of that 2018 team that made a bowl after winning one game the year prior. They forced turnovers. I mean, the 2019 team, 2021, they won a lot of close games. Those weren't 50-50 teams by any stretch, but there were a lot of games that were close to 50-50, and those teams forced turnovers. Unfortunately, this year's team did not. They were minus 13 on the year, so essentially, obviously on average, you're 1 and 1/12 turnover per game, worse than your opposition. And when you're a team that's, struggles to put together 60 minutes, that's tough to overcome. And part of the reason that perhaps for some of the struggles with the team's inability to get the pressure on the quarterback. It's funny, I think as the year went on, some areas emerged, like the secondary became a pleasant surprise. I think when you look across the way at Reggie Bush II, LeVar Thornton, when Jacob Redding, when he was out there, Tyler Turner, across the board, they were a pretty solid unit. But the defensive line and linebackers never really got going outside of Keaton Thomas, who's a tackling machine. Caleb Burns had a good tackling day today. But the inability to get pressure on the quarterback would just change things downfield. In fact, this year, Baylor sacked the quarterback just 12 times, once per game. Last year, it was 23 times. And, you go back a few years to some of the Baylor better defensive lines, you get more than that. They just couldn't generate pressure, whether it was with a traditional, traditional 3 or 4 man rush, whether it was bringing guys off the edge. Marion Winston, a transfer portal pickup, had his moments, and maybe it would have been more if Travion Barnes hadn't been injured in the Kansas State game. But the end result is they just didn't get enough pressure on the quarterback, didn't generate enough turnovers, and as such, you never really got the full impact of the strength of the defense, which was the secondary. Baylor actually finished with the number 5 passing defense in the Big 12, despite the lack of a real pass rush. Again, we acknowledge with the defense they did have a ton of injuries this year. Devin Turner, Phoenix Jackson, Travion Barnes, Carl Williams, and it might have looked very different had those guys stay healthy. But obviously, no one could step up in their place. And I think too often you saw players out of position, in the linebacking core. You saw guys unable to put themselves in position to make plays, and too many times you saw quarterbacks like we saw Connor Wigman today, wide open down the field. You saw guys open, and just also an inability to get those really big stops. Baylor got that 4th down stop today. That gave Baylor an opportunity to tie the game, which they did, but then gave up the long touchdown, and that happens in football. But those are some numbers that add up to this team's inability to just really put together the 60 minutes that they wanted to, and that's why they're 5-7 as opposed to being 7-5 or 8-4. And again, you look, that Arizona State game was one that could have gone either way. The TCU game. If they protect football better, they've got a real chance to win that game. And I'd say that Cincinnati game too got away from them. But it was if they don't if they don't give up 24 straight points to start the game, that's a different game. They find their way back into things, but too often there would be one kind of fatal flaw, whether it was the slow start, whether it was a poor finish, like at Arizona last week. Unfortunately, just something always reared its head just about to keep this team from kind of reaching its ultimate goals, and also just to keep the team falling short in some winnable games. Too many Saturdays this season en route to a 5-7 record. This is the Fifth Quarter Show. I'm Derek Smith. Appreciate you being with us here as we wrap up the 2025 season. A little bit later on, we'll talk about some players that had a key impact for the Bears. We'll look ahead to the offseason, but coming up next, we're going to revisit the thoughts of Bears head coach Dave Aranda, his post-game interview with John Morris and Nick Florence. Again, we'll let you know, if you hadn't heard already, Caden Knighton is doing well at a local hospital. It was a scary moment when he stayed lying on his stomach for a number of minutes, was carted off on a stretcher. But we saw him give the thumbs up, and now he's doing well. He is sitting up. He's moving his extremities, and that is great to hear. Want to remind you that the Baylor Coaches Show, presented by Central National Bank, live at Rudy's, returns Wednesday night. The voice of the Bears, John Morris, will visit with Baylor coaches. They're going to visit with men's tennis coach Michael Woodson and men's basketball assistant coach Steve Henson. And that is going to be 6 to 7 p.m. You can get the inside scoop on these Baylor programs and all our Baylor athletics programs throughout this season. Sick 'em Bears, that's the Baylor Coaches Show, presented by Central National Bank, live at Rudy's. We'll take a timeout, come back with the thoughts of Bears head coach Dave Aranda after this. It's the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
When life gets complicated, Butts Law Firm is your one-stop for a wide range of legal needs. Whether you need estate planning documents such as a will, trust, or guardianship, or the appointment of a receiver to handle personal or business assets management and disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues, we are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today, 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the Waxahachie office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie. Come see the difference having a trusted attorney by your side can make, because at Butts Law Firm, your legal rights are our business.
Do you ever scream at your screen when your 5G internet freezes? It's the worst! So why not switch to Astound? Wi-Fi that just works. With Astound Wi-Fi, you'll rage less, buffer less, and live more. Lock in gig speed Wi-Fi for just $35 a month, guaranteed for 3 years. Plus, get up to a $200 Amazon gift card. Astound Wi-Fi, it just works. Visit Astound.com today.
If you need a trailer, Flat Rock Trailers has got you covered. From light-duty single-axle utility trailers to the big Tex tandem duals. We also carry a full line of enclosed cargo trailers. Need a motorcycle trailer? We've got them. Need a dump trailer? We've got the largest selection in the state. Oilfield trailers? We carry a full line of big Tex trailers to handle all your needs. Trailer repairs? We repair all makes and models. We'll even rent you a trailer if you need to use one for a day. Flat Rock Trailers, your #1 source for all your trailer needs. Find us at flatrocktrailers.com.
Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Here's your host, Derek Smith.
Stadium, following a 31-24 Baylor loss to Houston today to end the 2025 season with a 5-7 record. A lot of ways, a microcosm of the season. The Bears fall behind, fight back, make some big plays, make some mistakes, but have the game right there in front of them, but ultimately are unable to get over the hump as they fall 31-24 to the Cougars this evening to finish at 5-7. After the game, Dave Aranda visited with Nick Florence and the voice of the Bears, John Morris.
Joining now by Baylor head coach Dave.
All right, 6 minutes.
In comments brought to you by Alliance Bank. Alliance Bank, it's your bank. And, Coach, thanks for joining us. And, gosh, tough finish to this game, tough finish to the season. But I thought the resilience of your team really showed through even to the final gun today.
No, I appreciate that. You know, it's just it way hurts and tough locker room right now, but you know, we had multiple injuries going into the game, and then we had multiple injuries at the game, and the next guy kept stepping up, and there was just an incredible fight by this team, and way proud of that part of it. It just wasn't enough there at the end.
You literally almost ran out of running backs. Joseph Dodds ran really hard. What's the latest, or what have you heard about Caden Knighton?
I think he was being checked out. I think it's a lower back injury. He's got movement with upper body, lower body, so they feel good about that. So they're still testing right now, but so far so good.
That's good. Thanks for that update. Yep. You guys, again, put yourself in position. You had the ball in the final 2 minutes of the game. Put yourself in a position to drive down and score and either tie or win it there at the very end.
Yeah, I think early in the game, just too many mistakes and not capitalizing on scoring drives, too many field goals and not enough touchdowns. And then, I think tackling early in the game could have been a whole lot better on defense. And so all that stuff kind of catches up. When you play a team that's executing at a high level, there's only so many mistakes that you can make. And despite the effort and despite the next guy stepping up and the next guy stepping up and just all of that, it just wasn't enough to overcome it.
Talk about the seniors today. You got Devin Bobby, you got Cooper Lange, you got Sawyer. I mean, Josh Cameron, Hawkins. I mean, just a slew of guys that have been here that have, played some incredible football on this field and for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, way emotional locker room. It's way emotional. Last night, the team meeting. There's guys that have been here 4, 5, 6 years. Guys that could have. Some came as walk-ons. Others came and stayed. There's multiple opportunities to leave. There's, raises, I guess, from other spots, and they decided to stay. And so they're the ups and downs, and great reps of just everything that Baylor is about and wants to be about. Then we got some seniors that have been here for a year and have had to go to class in person, have had to some of the things that Baylor really cares about in terms of the spiritual growth and just the character formation part of it, have really kind of opened themselves to that in terms of that's maybe not something they ever really saw or was important to them, and so they've been able to transition into being a Baylor football student athlete. So both, the new and the old, just way miss them, and there's such a sacrifice that everybody made for a special group, and just way wish we would have gotten them a win today.
Yeah, the relationship, the family side, and even after the game, all the players going to the sideline and talking to their parents and family. I mean, talk about how important that is.
Yeah, we're trying really, really hard, for Baylor football to have a day in the sun somewhere. So we had to earn it, and that was kind of the goal today, and just a frustrating deal. I think for just the senior day tribute prior to the game, the second guy was Josh, and he's crying, then he gets me crying, and then it's the whole thing. You just see all the parents, and you remember when you were in their house recruiting them, and you remember just the good and the bad. You remember just all of there's like a long journey that this thing is, and it's like hard decisions, and it's hard truths, and it's kind of swallowing your pride, and it's kind of trusting other people, and it's hey, this is bigger than me, and just kind of what I want in this moment. It's all of those things. It encompasses all of those things, and so for it to be over, this part of it to be over, kind of hits you hard. But for a lot of these guys, man, onward and upward, and a lot of a couple guys going to the Senior Bowl, and there's going to be real positive things coming from them, and they're going to represent us just so well.
What will you remember most about this team?
Resiliency. I think in a lot of ways, this game is a reflection of our season. I wish that wasn't the case, but I just think despite, hey, however many guys are down, despite, hey, we only got one guy left here, despite, hey, we made this mistake and now we're in a bad spot, but we're still going to fight. That was this team, and we just kind of kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and so way proud of them. And, I think there's a lot
15 seconds
there when you have guys that really care and are good people, good players, that are committed to doing it the right way in a certain way. So, it's resiliency which comes to mind.
That's Bears head coach Dave Aranda following the 31-24 loss to Houston today. The senior class wanted to see them go out with a win, but they fall just short today. The the Bears a game shy of bowl eligibility after the 31-24 loss. Our impact segment is coming up next. We'll look at some of the key players on the season, guys who stepped up in some meaningful ways, and then we'll wrap it up here on the fifth quarter show. We'll take a break and come back with more after this. You're listening to the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cab, and chassis and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Welcome back to the fifth quarter show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Who had the biggest impact on today's game? Here's Derek Smith with today's Impact segment.
Impact segment and look forward to the season more broadly. This team, a Baylor team that had talent, came into the year with a lot of enthusiasm. Ultimately, that enthusiasm was not maintained as the Bears fell, just in some disappointing games. I think if you look at this season, there was a great moment at SMU. That was a fun game against a good team in their place, but that came off a disappointing loss to Auburn when there had been so much hype. It was a state loss that sometimes I find myself wondering, how different does the season look if Baylor wins that Arizona State? Maybe not dramatically, but that would have been just a big home win early in the Big 12 season. Back in the Big 12 opener at the time, 2 teams that people thought might have a chance to play in Arlington. Ultimately, Arizona State had a chance before they lost to Arizona yesterday. Honestly, when that's played out, but they, those were 2 teams that felt like potentially a Arlington, a spot in Arlington type of game. Fell short in that one. When we talk about impact, we'll talk about a few things more broadly. One is Sawyer Robertson. He finishes his Baylor career 4th in passing touchdowns, 4th in passing yards. The only individuals in front of him are Robert Griffin III, Charlie Brewer, and Bryce Petty. So that's a pretty good list to be included with. Obviously, in Robert Griffin, you've got the best passer. You've got the most electric player in Baylor history, and the guy who changed the trajectory of the program. And Charlie Brewer, you got a guy who was consistent for a lot of years and led the Bears to a Big 12 title game in 2019, and played a meaningful role in elevating the program after the scandal and bringing the program back. And then, of course, in Bryce Petty, we've got a guy who won 2 Big 12 titles and was really the 2 best quarterback years a guy has had. You know, we got some other guys who are close. You know, Seth Russell is now just out of the top 4. He's number 5. Staying healthy, who knows? Who knows what might have happened there? And Nick Lawrence is on that list. Sean Bell, Blake Chapin, Cody Carlson, J.J. Joe. And those last few names we read, Sawyer Robertson's above all of them. He's 4th behind just RG3, Charlie Brewer, and Bryce Petty. You know, and again, a great guy, a great Baylor guy, a great leader. You wish the success on the field in terms of where the season's ended up. There'd be more to celebrate. But again, when I think of him and Josh Cameron in particular, I think of 2 guys who are just Baylor guys that we're always going to want to celebrate the successes they have. I think Devin Bobby's a guy like that too. He's kind of quietly become one of the better players on the team. Consistent and a guy who's been a Baylor guy through and through. Maybe hasn't had as much attention as them, but he's been a part of that as well. You know, you look at impact, I'll say injuries had an impact because they did on the defensive side. We talked about it. Turner, Barnes, Carl Williams, Jackson. Baylor didn't have a pass rush, and maybe they would have, but all those guys stay healthy. But that was not the case. So you'd have to say maybe the lack of depth had an impact on the team. There just weren't enough guys stepping up on the defensive line and the linebacking core to get it done for the Bears. This season. The secondary had a good impact, but I would say the defensive line and certainly the linebackers did not. That was a spot where the team was weaker this year than you wanted to be. Josh Cameron, obviously a great impact. You're talking about a guy who's going to finish the year with 9 touchdowns, over 100 yards. He came here as nearly 900 yards. He came here as a walk-on and is going to finish his career top 10 in receptions in Baylor history and just out of the top 10 in yards all time. Someone that's just hard not to think fondly of. Is actually going to be, I think, just for a title of 8th all time in receiving touchdowns. You know, Michael Trigg, a guy who had hit some great games this season, the best tight end in the country. Sometimes he's so talented, you find yourself wanting more with him when he's not there. He wasn't on the field today, but a guy who's going to finish his Baylor career with the most receptions, most yards, and most touchdowns of any tight end in Baylor history. And when we talk about impact, I'm going to state something obvious that's a little nebulous as to what had a big impact on this team. Just its inability to play consistent 60-minute complementary football. We saw that today in microcosm with the defense. Hold Houston quiet for a number of drives, but the offense can't score touchdowns in the second quarter. Then the defense allows the offense to come back and tie the game, and then get something to make the right play. Why that was such a problem this year, it's hard to know. I don't think it's lack of character on the guys' part, lack of leadership, but but too often you hear the same things, right? Guys were out of position to play, or just not aligned, communication, or sometimes it was Sawyer missing throws, sometimes it was the ability to run the football. But just for whatever reason, the biggest impact of the year came from this team's ability to just stack the stops and scores, stack stops and scores, which you obviously have to do to win football games. Why they struggled with that is elusive, but the fact of the matter was they did, and again, that's why the team is 5-7 instead of 5-7-5. As we go to break and get ready to wrap things up, we'll talk about one other measure of impact that I think is worth noting. I think sometimes when we talk about guys being good Baylor guys, we talk about guys being a missional fit. I know President Livingstone's emailed again. She said Dave Brandon was a great missional fit. And I think when fans are upset about something, they can look at that as a negative. But let's talk about one thing on that before we go. And this remains a program that we can talk about what you want in the world. We can talk about the type of young men who want to go out into the world and become, whether it's football players or business people, husbands, fathers. This program is helping make them better, become better at all of those. This spiritual development piece is real. This year we had 10 guys baptized. If you're a Christian, I imagine a lot of people who are Baylor fans listening are. That's 10% of the football roster who got baptized. That's lives changed. And that is something, no matter what you think about the final record, we should absolutely celebrate. We saw Monterey Baldwin went out into the world, came back, got baptized. I mean, that's something to be proud of. That is something that's really meaningful, and that's something that when you look at Dave Aranda and this staff, they embody that so well, and that's not something I think you want to just look past. We could talk about what's going to happen with the program down the line, but right now just say good on them. Good on them. That's what we want. That's a positive thing, and that's a lot of lives who are going to leave this Baylor football program better because they were a part of it in a way that you're not going to find at other programs. And so when you talk about impact, that's an impact that has eternal repercussions, eternal ramifications, and those matter a lot too. And I think as we talk, sometimes we talk about numbers, and we'll continue to. We talk about the future of programs. We'll continue to. Let's not lose sight of that, and let's not get so wrapped up in the field stuff that we can't really celebrate that, because that deserves to be celebrated. Got to take our final time out and put a bow on this 2025 season. When we come back, this is the Fifth Quarter Show here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyotathon is on. And what better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's sing about it. So without further ado, driving through the snow in a new RAV4, hooray! To the slopes we go in a Highlander for a ski day. A Camry to get hot cocoa, tubing with a Tundra makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it is to make holiday wishes come true. Toyotathon, Toyotathon, Toyotathon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey!
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places. During Toyotathon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2026 Tundra. Offer available in select states only.
Do you ever scream at your screen when your 5G internet freezes? It's the worst! So why not switch to Astound? Wi-Fi that just works. With Astound Wi-Fi, you'll rage less, buffer less, and live more. Lock in gig speed Wi-Fi for just $35 a month, guaranteed for 3 years. Plus, get up to a $200 Amazon gift card. Astound Wi-Fi, it just works. Visit astound.com today.
At Magnolia Realty, award-winning agents set the bar for professionalism and excellence. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Magnolia's full-service brokerage will guide you through every step of the process with expert industry knowledge. Their agents are fully invested in learning your story and customizing the real estate experience to suit your stage of life. Magnolia Realty has been serving cities across Texas since 2007, including Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, and Temple. To get connected or learn more, visit magnoliarealty.com.
Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Here's your host, Derek Smith.
Here on the Fifth Quarter Show, as we conclude this 2025 season, the Bears finish with a 5-7 record, and the off season is upon us. Want to one more time say thanks to Ricky Thompson as he concludes his Baylor radio career and shifts to just being a fan, which he's always been a fan. He is going to be missed on the airwaves, but I know his grandson, his family, they're going to be glad to have a little more time with him on Fall Fridays and Saturdays, certainly Saturdays, but also Fridays when the team travels. Saturdays aren't going to sound quite the same without him. He didn't miss a game in 26 years. He's a Baylor guy through and through, and he is going to be missed. You know, we head now, as we've talked about earlier, into a consequential offseason. You know, we're talking about Baylor football, but it's really about Baylor athletics in the university, and football is a part of that. You know, it's a time when a lot of Baylor family members are feeling different ways about everything that's going on, but think one thing that's that's clear right now as we head into the off season is that, for our leaders here at Baylor, we want to pray that they are able to make the decisions, get the people they want, the right people here to lead our athletic department, and make decisions that will have a ripple impact throughout the ripple effect throughout the university. Sometimes leaders have to make decisions that in the short term that they're painful or unpopular, but you can see them a different way a year from now. Let's everyone look forward to these next couple of weeks, however long it is, next few weeks, as we find that athletic director that's going to come here and kind of lead Baylor into this next season of athletics. That's going to be a really consequential decision, and frankly, whatever you feel about the decision to bring Dave Aranda back, it's bigger. It's bigger than that. And Baylor got thrown a curveball when all of a sudden you need an athletic director before Thanksgiving, and people are, I think, wisely trying to make the right decisions in the right times and go from there. I think, you look, obviously this was a disappointing season. We know we've got in Dave Aranda and the guys who are coming back, good men who represent this program well. And I know some fans aren't happy, but that's a good place. That's a good place to be. And we allow that next athletic director to come in and evaluate and look at what's ahead. And as we're in such a strange time in college football, in college athletics in general, really all our prayers should just be for that person to come in, for wisdom for everyone involved. And I think we have found it numerous times throughout Baylor's history when people have prayed for that, have prayed for wisdom at consequential times. We've been blessed with that. We've been given that, and so that's what we look forward to as we head into this off season. On the Baylor Radio Network, we say goodbye to Ricky Thompson, even though we know we'll see him again in the stands as a Baylor football program. We say goodbye to Sawyer Robertson, Josh Cameron, Devin Bobby, and 20 other seniors. And we look forward to what's ahead as Dave Aranda and his staff look to build a strong recruiting class, bring guys in the transfer portal, and see if maybe some of these close games next year, which I anticipate there will be, that they'll find a way to win those. And maybe this record looks a little bit different next year at this time. But that's going to wrap things up here for the season. Appreciate y'all being with us here on the Fifth Quarter Show throughout the year. I want to say thanks to Aaron Sexton, our producer. Long Saturdays for him, but he does great work. And we appreciate that, Aaron. Appreciate you. Also, Bob Baker, our engineer on site. And appreciate all of you being with us throughout the year. Speaking for all of them, I'm Derek Smith. Again, the final today, Houston 31, Baylor at 24. The offseason awaits. We'll talk to you next year on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
All right, bud. I'll talk to you next time I do the women.
Football.
We got plenty of
sports.
So I know you'll
Today.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Have a great day, bud.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thanks.
Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Baylor Scott and White Health.